Ooh, we're gonna see how this goes. Let me grab my little tablet for the chat. Final testing stages on this. There's Tanner. What's going on, Tanner? How are you, bro? Doing a quick morning live. Very unusual. Let me just get ready to share everything like I normally do. We're gonna check out this dedicated shooter. Some Action Max. Going to light gun games. I have it, I'm gonna flip the camera. We'll do some actual gameplay because this is right now in final test mode. Right now about 99% complete. I got an iPack. I know, shocking. I used the iPack on this. I got the iPack coming in today. So right now I'm using a BS USB controller encoder, the SJI-JX. So that's gonna come out. I'll explain why I have to do that. And yeah, we are right now, I know it's gonna be an early stream, that's a-okay. Let me just save, I should say share everything that I normally do. I'm not doing a multi-stream, so it's not going to Twitch. It's not going to that. Just sticking it to YouTube right now. Again, final testing stages. I basically make sure, well, yesterday I sat down and made sure I had all videos. So every game has a video. I have like 2 logos to fix. And yes. If I could find where the hell this live is. It's so stupid. Like YouTube doesn't show my own, like, because I'm logged in as me, it doesn't show my own live stream. Oh, here we go. All right, cool. We got some people joining in. I just posted this to the Retro Shooter community page. Again, I don't normally stream off of this actual BS laptop. I do use this laptop to stream pinball, so it should be okay. Like I said, let me just update this. People on the Retro Shooter group is being very funny, especially Scott. Shout out to Scott. Scott O'Connor, he does a lot of like artwork and stuff. He wrote, I hope it's got 3,000 Flash games on it. All right, again, very excited. I clocked in, I believe. It's funny because this whole setup here kind of messes with my audio a little bit, but I'll lower the TV. You guys can't hear it yet. I have a whole setup. I'm going to basically go sideways, you know, just like how I do my pinball stuff. So we're going to actually get live gameplay on this. But yes, you're looking at another Time Crisis 55-inch ByVic. All my cabinet designs are labeled ByVic. There's a reason why. You can go back on my video to see why. So again, 55-inch dedicated shooter. We are utilizing the Retro Shooter Reapers on this. So you can see everything is there. Crazy stuff. This right here is now my go-to gun as far as light gun stuff. Hopefully YouTube doesn't take me down with waving a light gun. It's a light gun. These things are insane. Like I said, right now it's just quick testing. I'm going to make an official final video on this, obviously. But, man, these are amazing. These are now, like I said, the go-to guns. What a journey, at least for me, going with light gun games, or I should say light gun builds. My personal one started with the aim tracks. Then I've built several light gun cabinets utilizing gun for IR, Ray, RPEG electronics. He's been selling those real time crisis metal sliding recoil guns. But these right here are a huge game changer at a fraction of the cost. Not a fraction, that makes it sound bad. Again, Retro Shooter Reapers, pretty fast stuff coming in. I think it took a week and a half to get. Once the customer gave me his deposit for this cabinet, I immediately go out and I buy all the stuff I need to buy. The PC, I start cutting wood. That takes about 2 days to cut wood and assemble. I buy everything. And you'll see, like, in the video coming up, I'll be discussing, the shocking eye-opener now with the cost of PCs. This is a full, real desktop, full-size PC in this. This PC right now is running a Ryzen 7, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe, and the graphics card on this is a 4060. PC alone on this, you're looking at around $1,300. I think about like $1,350. So $1,300 to $1,400, mostly because of that GPU. GPU pricing right now is wild. Graphics cards are insanely priced. And people over there with 5090s for $3,000 just for GPU is wild to me. So there are people that are paying that. But the PC alone on this, you're looking at $1,300 in parts. That is just the PC alone. That doesn't count configuring, moving everything. This build I'm really excited for because I basically started ground up. Not restarted. I had my files and all that. This is my, it's a big box cabinet. My last dedicated shooter was a Hyperspin. No more Hyperspin in my book. That is just gone and outdated. So this now is running Launchbox Big Box. Basically just did a lot of stuff. And the biggest thing is, it's funny, like I said, like Scott just commented on the group. He goes, oh, does this have 3,000 flash games? No, it does not have 3,000 flash games to it. You're going to see me talk about it in the video. We're going to be discussing, the drive sellers selling you 600, 800, 4 terabytes worth of games. It's just, people do look at the game count, and I'm just not a fan of just that big number. And I do plan to do a separate stream on this. I got a hold of, what was it, like 700 flash games. And it's just not fun. And a lot of indie games. I got a hold of a bunch of indie games. And I have a couple of indie games on this, but at least they're like good, decent, and lengthy games. Whereas some like indie games are just like blah. And I don't really like to count them or add them. Right now, you're looking at 313 light gun games. So on my wheel here, I basically have it set up. I just exited by accident. Whoops. I double tapped the exit. And again, that will be all fixed because I have my iPack coming in to play. I have one category labeled light gun games. That is where your 313 games live. In my game count, though, I am not including flash light gun games. There's no videos to this. But if I do enter in, I do have it set up with like the logos and stuff. So there's like 124 flash games. That's flash games on that. So I don't really like to count that, but it is what it is. I don't want to hit that button again. I must have it double tap. Again, final testing stages. This is what's good about testing. Also, aside from that, the Wii I do not have in my entire list. I don't know what game this is, but I'm gonna have to double check my videos. See, that's the point of doing these tests and such. What game is that? I have to make sure, because I did take from my arcade build, that I don't have like any random videos. It should only show videos I have here, but now I gotta see what bowling game do I have on this. Again, final testing stage. So again, the Wii stuff, not included on my, see, I have it set up to like exit. I'm gonna have to fix that. I must have a keyboard set up in Big Box for that. Again, final testing stages, that's a-okay. You can see there's a custom backdrop on it. Without further ado, we'll load up some games. Now, as far as my light gun games, like I said, 313. Shout out to my buddy Joel Retro Lizard. I do have some duplicates. I do have some. So guys, I'll change the view on this and all that. So for example, I have like Death Crimson OX, and then I have Death Crimson OX again. One is a Dreamcast version, and the other one I would assume is either a PS2 or the actual arcade. This is the actual arcade version. So sometimes it's cool to have doubles like that because in all honesty, console games and an actual arcade game, it does have like different add-ons and stuff. So I do have a couple of duplicates. One I just recently added was Time Crisis 5. I do have 2 versions of Time Crisis 5. Vic, why? One version doesn't require the pedals, and the other version requires the pedals. So that's why I have it set up just like that. We're gonna have to see, there we go. I have it set up just like that. So if you wanted to pull out the dual pedals, you could work it like that, or launch the other one and just use the gun. So Time Crisis 5 uses 2 left and right pedal. And some people might want to see it. They might go, hey, Vic, how did you get that to work? I have one version that's using Techno Parrot and one version that is using the standard, like, standalone version. And again, this is why we do the testing. Here we go. So as you can see, I have to, for example, check inside. It looks like I have my, my mouse cursor on this set. So I have to adjust that. This is off-screen reload type of game. Again, I will bring you in, no need to worry. But basically just showing off. Again, I don't have my joystick key on because I don't want to use joystick key on this. So I'm using a keyboard to exit out. Basic stuff, standard stuff on how to do my testing and such. But all in all, again, 313 games. Yes, you can see like I have Fruit Ninja. Pretty cool. It's not really a light gun game, but at least it works. But I'm not the type that's going to put all point and click games. I'm not running it like that. That is not exactly or at all how I want to run things. For example, I said, as I do my testing, I see here I have technically I have 3 House of the Deads. I have one that's the PC version. I have one that I think is the arcade version. And what is this? House of the Dead 2 is probably like a 2-player Dreamcast version. So again, I'll bring you in because some people want to see the actual screen now. This is where, like I said, my final testing stages, I make sure I usually like to put my logos and stuff. Jason, what's going on? What are the specs of the PC? So you're joining in late. That is A-okay. We're looking at a Ryzen 7, 32 gigs of RAM. Yes, I overkill my stuff. 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe, along with the 4060 as far as the GPU on it. Not too bad. We'll make it work. Again, like I said, I make my little notes. Like I gotta see why I have. I like to make sure all. Well, you now could see it, right? So if I go real quick, and I'll go to the dead. And I usually set it up where like long press on that, so you can skip letters. But I'm just gonna be lazy. I didn't launch my joystick key. Again, shooters, I don't do joystick key normally. And no, my luck is probably under H, so I can now take my gun, and I'll go left. As you can see there, we'll go down to H, awesome. So as you can see, I have 3 House of the Dead 2 logos. And normally I like to make it all clean. So most likely when I did like the metadata, I might have wiped me out or rewrote it. So for example, here you can see here, I have Time Crisis 4, and then I have Time Crisis 4 2-player box. So that's why there's 2 versions. For example, Time Crisis 5 dual pedals version. I have to update the video on that. And Time Crisis 5 no pedals. So if I launch this, I could basically play this game with just the light gun. You could launch the other version and do 2 pedals. Again, now remember, we're using the Retro Shooter Reapers on this. Technically, both guns are mapped as like right button, RB for the mouse. So that's why I had to launch it with Techno Parrot. So I'll give you guys a little tidbit on that. Don't really need to see the screen now. I'll just show you this one again. So I'm right now launching the player one version, or not player one version, the no pedals needed version, which is kind of cool in this instance because I could be pretty quick on this with this no pedal version. I kind of dig it. Gonna let this kind of go. I could do my left and right. So I'm actually utilizing the thumbstick on the Reaper. This is why it's pretty cool to see when you have the Reaper. See, like I don't even have to hold it. There we go. Instead of me going like with the dance with the pedals, some people might like the ease of just using your second hand. So I played a little bit of this Time Crisis 5, and I'm like, ooh, I kind of like how this is, where I'm basically just
waste of
going
a perfectly
left
good
and right.
resort hotel.
All right, vacation time's over.
Now I'm seeing
We're
here,
here
I
to
think
use
I
the
have
silver
to
case
fix
in Wild
or
Dog's
adjust my
possession.
middle mouse button.
Robert's our
That's why I said
negotiator.
I launched
You're his
every
backup.
game.
Got it?
I did it
Got
in Launchbox. Let me make my note.
Yeah.
Gotta make sure that I have my.
Are we ready?
My weapons.
Robert, enter Wild
That
Dog's
usually I'm
room.
able to.
Don't mess this up, Chief.
TC5.
Cut the chatter.
Entering the room.
But this is another. This is like I said. This is an example of why I have two versions of Time Crisis 5. You know, instead of me now dragging the pedals down, I'd rather just kind of go in and play a game. With that, I have Time Crisis 5.
No goes
no
on
pedals.
beyond this point.
Again, PC
Anyone
based,
sticking their nose in is
full,
liable to
real
get it broken.
Desktop size build.
What?
No mini PCs. Kudos if it does work. I just can't picture myself spending $400 to $500 on a mini PC
What do you
without
say
a
to a
dedicated
light warm-up
GPU.
before we get down to dog catching?
I don't like it.
Sounds great.
I don't like it. Let me lower my Elgato. Action. So again, utilizing the actual thumbstick. That's why I have two different versions of this. The next step for me, only because I want to get this build out to the customer, I will be looking into the retro shooter Reapers. I have right now the recoil off, so I'll add it now. Hook of the Reaper, the main hooker setup is something that I do want to add. It's just, it's gonna take me time to do all that. Again, keep in mind right now, you're looking at a 55-inch screen. Beautiful stuff. As far as these sensors on this, yes, I am utilizing gun for IR sensors. I don't use the original retro shooter sensors. They're too big and bulky. It's such a slim TV. You don't really want to do that per se. Start from the right cover. Good. It's actually funny. About 2 or 3 days ago, I did that short. It's on Instagram. Of me playing Time Crisis 1, and I finally, or I should say, I sat down and actually played the full thing. 17-minute long game. Can't go wrong with that. Again, no need for the pedal, as I have it just set up like this. Awesome. Now I could basically go here, I could press escape. Again, I don't have my iPack right now, so that's why we are going into that. And cool. Do I want to launch? I don't have the pedals plugged in. If I did that, I would have to wheel them out, which I'll probably do. Why not? Because my garage is a tad bit dirty, though, I do put like a plastic over it. So, did you see me? Nope. Let's move you. This is a really cool thing. Again, custom cut cabinets and all. I knew I was using the Reapers. I have my ByVic downstairs, the House of Rock. And one little headache that I deal with is the storage of pedals. Where am I going to put these pedals? So when I built this cabinet, and I do know off the bat I'm going to get a lot of requests, I said to myself, I'm going to need some storage. So with this, I did do the custom cutout that holds the pedals in the cabinet along with the fire base. That was pretty funny. The fire base, I was going to like glue it down into the cabinet, but as you can see, I kind of want to pull it out, plug my pedals in, and I could push it back in. Now, what's really cool with the way I designed it is that it's like behind the lip. So that now is not going nowhere. Like I'm pulling it, not gonna go nowhere. So now I have my two pedals here. While I do this, might as well load up Time Crisis 5, the dual pedals version. We're gonna press start on that. I have to make the video for that. This one right here, I'm utilizing Techno Parrot for this. Why, Vic? Why? Because I need the two guns to be recognized as two separate buttons. So you can see I'm kind of doing my little plastic. I don't want to dirty this customer's pedals. So again, yes, I use the actual hardware that you like, that I buy. I have to use it to make sure it works and such with your build. So here we go. Time Crisis 5 pedal version. So now I don't have it set up where it's gonna work here. I have to step on the pedal, which technically is the right, you know, the reload. But this is gonna be cool because you can at least see now why I have two different versions of it. Again, you can see my little pedals. You can see both pedals, awesome. I have right map to player 2, and I have the left map to player 1. See this now? I see that my middle mouse is mapped. I have to go back to my standalone. So I'm able to skip it. So here we go.
I'll provide air support.
Action.
Left.
Guards confirmed in considerable
Right.
numbers.
That is why I have two different versions of Time Crisis 5. Beautiful. Awesome, look at that. So there's your little tip for the people that say I don't contribute anything. If you want dual pedals with the Reapers, keep in mind the reason I'm saying that is because both Reapers are recognized as right mouse button. But at least with Time Crisis 5, I should say Techno Parrot, you're able to map the two separate guns as two separate buttons. There's your Time Crisis 5. So if you want to play Time Crisis 5 like it was intended to be played, you launch the dual pedal version.
Don't let
Start with my cover. Go, go, go.
Action.
Again, my last thing to do on these type of builds. Oh shit, I just shot my own teammate. The last thing to do on these type of builds, I do want to work on Hook of the Reaper.
Action.
The only thing I have about Hook of the Reaper is I believe, I could be wrong, but I believe if I do Hook of the Reaper and I want to turn off the recoil, it will ignore the slider and it will still recoil. So, you know, in this case with the Reapers, I would have to then unplug the recoil piece, which is fine. Some people wouldn't mind that. It's just, I don't want to do that though. But yes. So again, like my buddy Joel Retro Lizard, he's like, oh, I even wrote to him, he's like, Vic, how do you have 313 light gun games? Again, I have to do the video for this one, which is kind of cool because you know, this is like the theme video and I like to make my own like separate one. So that is how I come up with 313. Not many duplicates though. Keep in mind, I just want to stress that. For example, another one that I just discovered, Lethal Enforcers 3. I have two versions of that. The Beamy, what's going on? You don't teammate kill them all. No teammates on this one. Same thing. So it's pretty cool. Like I said, I sat down and I was I was like, oh, I gotta fix up a couple of things. Like this, for example, I'm gonna re-record this. I like my videos kind of full screen. Hold on, let me just make my notes. So this is TC4. Re-record. And it's funny, this is why I'm actually doing this live stream, and this is where I'm at a point where I'm just gonna play the actual cabinet. That's how I do it. My plan right now is that I have to basically clone. I'm gonna be cloning this drive. And then I'm gonna update my personal ByVic House of Rock cabinet. I did a lot of stuff that I did add to this. I'm gonna mention it real quick. So Time Crisis 4, shout out Michael Streener. Michael Streener got Time Crisis 4. This is RCPS3 2-player. He got it to work. Somebody posted a tutorial video on YouTube. Drawing a blank on that person's name, but shout out to that person because they provided the link for it. Now, I'm gonna make a comment about it. The link that he provided, it actually technically did several games for RCPS3 to be 2-player. Let me I'll lower this. He did several games that work now 2-player with RCPS3. So you got like Dead Storm Pirates, Raising Storm. That was a pretty big deal. Now here's the comment that I'm gonna make. Maybe it was just me, but this is where, like I said, I usually play my games and stuff. he has it set up in a way where it's like a save state. It loads, all the games load Raising Storm. The first time I launched it, everything was good. The second time I launched it, RCPS3 threw an error at me. Some like big error. Basically, I had to go back into RCPS3, launch the game, almost like to redo the PPU stuff, and then exit it. Then it worked. But then if I picked another game, it crashed it. So my solution to that issue, I basically have now RCPS3 for each game. What does that mean? I have a whole separate folder just for Time Crisis 4. I have a whole separate folder for Raising Storm. And I don't think I did Dead Storm Pirates, only because Dead Storm Pirates 2-player arcade, it's like good. So I don't really need the RCPS3 version of it. So I don't know if any other people ran into that. I didn't see anything in the comment section on that YouTube video of the person that made that tutorial. But you know, I was like, oh, and it's a big file. I think it was like a 35 gig file that I downloaded. Can you play 3-player and 4-player light gun games? You would need 3 or 4 guns. It is doable, but there's not many 3 or 4 player games. If you're doing like MAME, you have like Rev X. There's a couple, like, I would probably say in total, the entire library that has 3 or 4 player games, it's probably like 8 or 9 games. As far as the newer stuff, Raccoon Rampage is 4-player. You got that Rabbids game, that's 4-player. You got Tomb Raider, that's 4-player. And that's like really all that I could think of. You could do 3 or 4 players. That's where you're going to see I do have tucked away in the side. I do have the mounted gun, the Aliens and the Gatling guns. That one I did 3 and 4 players. It's just like, you know, that Raccoon Rampage game is not that great. Not to mention you don't even hold down the button for it. So I think that is the correct way to do it. Have them in separate folders. Yes, the Be Me, yes. So the only thing is like, the only way for you to know that is if you actually run it. Now, like I said though, you got to keep in mind, again, Time Crisis 4, Raising Storm, that alone right there, if you think about it, that's going to run you about 50 gigs. That's why I'm at right now my minimum for, I'm over here, I'm just, you know, messing around. That's why minimum right now, as I pass the letter T, that's why minimum for my light gun builds, it would have to be 2 terabyte minimum. It's funny, this is the reason why I'm touching my build downstairs. I had 1 terabyte boot drive. Oh, I can actually just start it here. I forgot I did that. I have 1 terabyte boot drive, and then I have like 2 terabytes external, and my House of Rock cabinet is like full. And I went basically now, and where's my mouse? There it is. I went basically now, and I was like, oh, I bought now a 4 terabyte SSD. If you don't know my House of Rock build, I am running a Dell Optiplex with I think like a 1650 on it. I'm running a Dell Optiplex on that because, you know, I want to play more of my light gun games, but I was maxed out. So as you can see here, we're doing the 2-player. Let me change my gun. So this is why I have 2 Time Crisis 4s. As you can see, again, shout out to Michael Streiner. He had it set up where like you could, it automatically loads into it. So I went in. The only thing I couldn't do is I couldn't fix the resolution, but I don't think anybody's going to complain about this. Change my weapon. So in a case like this is where, like I said, I got my buddy Joel Retro Lizard. He's not a fan of duplicates, but when you need the duplicate, you need the duplicate, right? Like it's just, it has to be done. So now I could go up here. I can now do the 1-player version. Like I said, I'm going to re-record that. That 2-player version, that Time Crisis 4, I actually screen grabbed and recorded the actual gameplay screen because, you know, I like to have videos. Like I said, I just did that yesterday though, the Time Crisis 5 thing. So now we have again full screen 1-player though on this. I don't know if it's looking a little choppy on my on the screen grab, but that's okay. It doesn't look choppy on the actual game. It's just like the screen grab. So as you can see though, one player version. That's it. Launched into it. So now you got 2 different versions of it. Easy. Where's my tablet? Here we go. Because I see people chatting. And I appreciate everybody just hanging out this morning. There's J-Rod. There he is. Looks sick. Dorito Reese's. Thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. Like I said, final testing. You just got to test. You got to do your thing. Do your thing. So like I said, the next thing I'm going to do is probably, I got to work on Hook of the Reaper, but this is going to be delivered. I'm delivering this cabinet, and then I'll work on Hook of the Reaper on my own. This is cool. This is where I'm saying I'm going to make a deal of a thing to talk about it. But the Retro Shooter Reaper, I'm able to like control and move all here. Like, I think it's like wild that I'm able to do all that. As you can see, we're going to be doing this Shadow Rising. I still have my pedals plugged in. Yeah, I think it's like wild. That, and now when I was building this, Joe was like, oh, you should have done the Stream Deck. And I was like, oh, you know, Stream Decks are cool, but it's like, it kind of is like smack dab in the middle of the cabinet. But in all honesty, I have like the start, the coin, up and down. I don't even need that for this build because the Reaper has it. The only thing I really technically need is the exit. I do need the exit button. I need that. So maybe instead of doing 2, 4, 6, instead of 8 buttons, I could just do 1 button. That will be the exit. I think it's just wild that I have everything here. Now, I'm not a Sinden person. I don't like the Sindens. I never experienced the Sindens. But, you know, some people might say you have the D-pad on the Sinden. You could probably do that. I just don't like the white border. I'm not liking the white border. So now here we're going to see what's up with Shadows Rising. How much for a setup with hardware? 2 guns, plain pedestal, no art. So I'm going to be honest, this right here, this cabinet right here, some people might go Aruga. This cabinet right here sold for $7,200. Yes, $7,200. That is everything. Complete, plug and play, testing and all. This sold for $7,200. Now you're going to see, I'm going to be talking about it in the video. Some people go, whoa, Vic, that's a lot. Keep in mind, like I said, the PC alone is $1,300. The PC, it's a custom built PC. It's not a pre-built. It's all current gen stuff. Let me bring in player 2. So you can see some 2-player action. Action! Put on my recoil. Beautiful. I'm not going to ignore the question because this is a question that I get a lot. And I always get mixed reviews. Not reviews. I get mixed reactions because people don't understand the time. Right now you're looking at this took me, and again, I started from the ground up. So now if I was going to duplicate this, no. I do not just clone my drive, put it in, and then send it out. I don't do that. I'm a perfectionist. Even now as I'm talking, again, doing this live, I'm not going to cut stuff out. I was like, why is this taking a little bit long to load? But it loaded, so it is what it is. If you think the price is high, that is A-okay. If you want just the cabinet alone, that is fine. I will build you just the cabinet. You might be the type of person, like I said, I'm going to make a point of it in the video. You know, there are drive sellers out there. Oh, I even had the volume low as I was playing that. I do have drive sellers. There are drive sellers that will sell you more games for less. Okay, you deal with that. I will be more than happy to just make the cabinet alone. Now, real quick, because over here, somebody wrote here, plain pedestal, no art, no TV. So number 1 off the bat, if you do buy a full cabinet, a full plug-and-play cabinet, and it is going to be shipped, if I have to get a freight company, I do not include the TV. I've had 2 instances where the TV's damaged, broke, and I said, there is no point of me doing that. I just deduct the TV from the price. I get these TVs, BJ's, Costco. You don't need OLED. You don't need 120 hertz. Basic TV. So again, this is a basic 55-inch TCL, which was kind of shocking to me because this TCL it could do 120 hertz. I was like, whoa, interesting. I am giving the customer, like I have a bunch of HDMI cables. So maybe it's the cable that's helping do that. But I was like, wow. The TV right here cost me, I think it was like $280. And I said to myself, after the first one, I was like, I sent out a second one. And like I said, I have no control if the freight company damages the TV. I'm like, damn, why am I now going to lose $300? I'm paying $300 for the TV. And basically, I refunded the customer $300. I said, hey, here's the exact TV I get. Just go to BJ's, Costco. You don't have to get that. Just be sure you're getting a current gen TV. You want something like current, something now, because it's like lighter, skinnier. You don't want to put like a plasma on this because that's kind of heavy. So just got to keep that in mind. So yes, if I am shipping these cabinets out, I do not include the TV. Vic, what? I'm spending all that money and I'm not going to, no, just go because it's not worth the damage. It's not worth the risk. Why am I going to lose $300 if it's going to, if I have a 50-50 chance where it's going to either survive the transit or it's going to have a huge dent on the side of it. And I pack my stuff good, but shit happens during transit. And it's not like I'm a company that's making thousands of cabinets a day. It's just easier for me to just say, hey, go buy a TV. I will usually, when I do these, I have my own TVs. I usually take the actual 55-inch TV off of my personal House of Rock and I'll mount it and run it like that. I usually do that. This way I could do my videos and you can see all that with an actual 55-inch screen and such. So next thing to mention, artwork. So artwork now we're hitting a realm. My printer costs money to print the vinyl. I don't have a printer. I use a third party. I use a guy that's, probably about 5 minutes away from me. He prints it. I have to give him the artwork for it though. I have a couple of people that want a House of the Dead artwork. I don't mind making the artwork. There's a fee for that. Or if you need something very elaborate, I have to now get a designer involved, which usually I use Gaston. Gaston, overseas dude, he does great work, but he costs money. So real quick to mention, because Reese is over here, wrote here, without the artwork, and I can't stress it enough, if you do no vinyl, I don't care how good your CNC is. I don't care how great your bit is. You will see chips in the wood. So I'm going to take like this spare piece here. Let's bring you in here. You kind of see like that. See like the corner? You're going to see that. So if you can live with that, fine. That's A-okay. But in all honesty, I mean, I can't really say that because people do have budgets. If you do no artwork, you're probably going to save yourself just the vinyl alone. The vinyl on this cabinet costed me $350 to print. My regular ByVic arcades, like the 4 players, I usually pay about $400 to $450. That is just to print it. Just to print it. That's not including a designer. That's not including the work. That's just to print the art. So if you want to do that, that's fine. If I was doing a cabinet alone, this is where now you go into the extra realm. For example, like I mentioned before, Ray RPG Electronics, he printed the actual gun holsters for me. Inside this cabinet, I mean, even though it looks like the guns are just kind of like sitting, there's an actual gun and holster in the cabinet. So it's not like the wood is holding this. No, there's an actual gun holster inside. I don't want it where the gun's going to fall through. It won't do that. So there is a gun holster inside. I got to buy the 2 gun holsters. Ray RPG Electronics, he did the gun holsters and he gave me the sensors. So again, like I mentioned before, Retro Shooter Reapers, but I am using gun for IR sensors because it's got to be like clean. It's got to be like, if I didn't tell you the sensors were here, you wouldn't even know that there were sensors there. He charged me in total $140 for the gun holsters along with the IR sensors. And I mentioned to Ray, I'm going to mention it in the video. I mentioned to Ray though, I was like, hey bro, you should make a bundle because again, shout out Retro Shooter. They give you the sensors. They're just so big and bulky. And this TV, it's just very thin bezeled. And it's not like an OLED. It's not like $1,000 TV. It's still like a thin bezel. So Ray's like sensors, and he gives you this clear stickiness. Like those things are like bolted in. They're not going nowhere. Every time I'm working in the garage, I cover the TV with this piece of plastic with the sensors still on. So yeah, I did mention it, right? Do a bundle, bro. People are asking, like, you know, they're not asking for a bundle, but I've seen people making the holsters. I've seen people, no, that's it, just the holsters. They're great. Ray now, though, he did give me one. He was like, oh, I could give you one that has like a mount. And the big thing when I build my cabinets is I can't use a mount. I need the holster to be right up against the wood. It's mounted to the side walls. So if you give me like a mount, I now have to move this hole over. I don't want to deal with that. Like, no. I said to Ray, I was like, I need it side mounted, just hard mounted. And he did it for me. It's all good. This right now is showing, it was showing the Wii games. It's going to go back into the Wii games. But yes, again, if you want the cabinet alone, I have to figure out a price. Normally, if I was doing an arcade cabinet, so for example, like the 4-player, so that's with the control deck, with the artwork, I do $2,800. My prices don't include shipping. They don't include crating. So, it's funny. People go, hey, Vic, like if I want a pedestal, just like what Reese's asked, if I want a pedestal, it takes the same amount of wood to cut. If I cut this rear out, it's going to cost the same amount of wood. So I always say stick with the ByVic design. If you want me to cut this piece off, cool, but it's going to cost the same. Maybe you'll save like, I don't know, $50 on vinyl art, but I'm not doing that. Like, oh, minus $58. I don't do that. So if you're going to do, I would say, honestly, if I'm doing the artwork and all that, minus all the add-ons, again, just the cabinet, I would say with artwork, we're looking at $2,500. That's what I would do. If I got to get Ray to now print the holsters, and if you want gun for IR sensors, I'm the type where I would rather you pay Ray, and then Ray could send it to me. That's like the easiest thing, because I don't like buying stuff like that. So if you're the type that goes, hey Vic, I want gun for IR sensors on my build. If I'm doing a full build like this, as you can see, I already did it. I'll go to Ray and I'll pick up the parts. But if you're the type that, you know, do it yourself, that's fine. Ray ships, so it's not that big of a deal. You're not really saving anything. I just don't want it where like if I bundle it and I send it to you and now all of a sudden like the sensor, this IR sensor isn't working, whose fault is it? Is it mine or is it Ray's? No, you just do it like that. But yes, right now, like I said, I'm waiting on right now the iPack. The iPack should be coming in today. I thought Big Box was gonna just give me like an exit button, but it didn't. So I need an actual hard-coded escape key, mostly because of these Sega Model 2 games. So for example, like Jurassic Park, I would need an actual escape key because Joy to Key, it doesn't register on Joy to Key. I think I see Vidal there. What's going on, Vidal? How are you, bro? Oh, live. Yes. We are live. Yes. Played a little bit. Again, I make my notes. This is also another cool thing. I'm also purposely just letting this go with the attract mode. I shot the video for the arcade one up like yesterday or 2 days ago, and Launchbox crashed one time. And then I looked and somebody said change it from the VLC media reader to Windows. And it right now is running like the Windows media player. So I'm purposely letting this go to make sure it doesn't crash. I don't know how long I've been talking, but it's been going good. This right here I think is a Dreamcast game. So kind of cool. Like I said, I plan that when I do make the actual video for this, I plan to do a setup just like this. Launch the games. I'm a big fan of seeing games being launched. Exit. How does the system work? How does it work? Again, not to you know talk about other people and companies and all that. There's a new player, and his name is Fernando, I believe. He's the guy that's making those gun carts. Very cool. Very awesome stuff to see those gun carts. In the video, though, And like I said, so the gun card, it's a mounted gun. I have the game low, so that's okay. In the video, it's a mounted gun. And off-screen reload on this. And, you know, it's different when, like, you know, you obviously shoot a video like I do, and there's cuts. There's always going to be cuts. Oh, shit. There's always going to be cuts, right? But I'm also a fan of seeing, like, a game work. So the one thing I noticed is that, and again, for people that don't know, I am building a 4-player mounted gun system. Those guns are not light gun games. I should say they're not light guns. They don't read like a mouse. They read like a joystick. So in his recent video, he was playing a game, Mad Bullets. Mad Bullets is a game that must use the mouse. There's no demol shooter on it. And he actually launched the game. If you watch the end of the video, he launches the game, but the gun didn't react. And I wrote to him like on a Facebook post. Oh shit, I shot that guy. I wrote to him, I said, oh wow, you got Mad Bullets to work. I'm kind of interested to see how you did that. Now, a program, for example, like Joy-to-Key, you could have the mouse move. You can move the mouse pointer. But it's not like a real mouse pointer. It's almost like as if I go this way. And again, gotta keep in mind, it's a joystick. So if I'm moving the joystick this way, the mouse is just going to continuously go to the right. You could set it where it's going to it'll go back to the center, but it's like it's not the way a gun game would work. And like I said, I'm anxious to see his reply on it because it didn't work. But like I said, I'm the type of person where normally when I make videos like this, I don't really show this. Like I don't show exit and enter, but I'm going to start doing it because, you know, some people don't realize like, oh, wow, did this work right? This is how the system is reacting. Exactly how you see it here. That's what you're getting. That's what you're paying for. So yes. Did you close up the printed holsters? Okay, hang on. It's a fair price for the craftsmanship. I appreciate that, Dorito. I appreciate that. I'm making my cab out of scrap. They work. Look cool, but no one would mistake for a new arcade machine like your stuff. I appreciate that, Dorito. Again, you know, that's where in this world, and it's cool. You gotta understand something. Me, I've been doing this for 13 years. I just love gaming. I love arcades. I love just like, you know, I love all of it. Whether you buy a cabinet from me, I do not care. As long as you're enjoying gaming, it's cool. It's fine. I'm with it. Now, for example, Dorito, you're building your own cabinet. So I'm pretty sure you probably went to Home Depot. You probably bought maybe Birch. You bought maybe MDF. And you probably spent, if you do a full size, it usually takes a minimum. On my end, it'll take a minimum of 2.5 sheets of wood. For me, for me to tell a customer, that just simply translates to 3 sheets of wood. 3 sheets. That is it. My wood guy, again, I use laminated birch. I don't use MDF. This cabinet is fairly light. You know, almost like, you know, just not light where it's like I could lift it up with my finger. It's not MDF heavy though. But again, I am using, show a close-up of the holsters? Okay, I can bring you close. I just want to show Dorito real quick, the wood. I'm using, I said, laminated birch. This right here, this costs me now, especially with the tariffs and all that BS. When I was building this cabinet, they charged me $130 per sheet of wood. $130. And I bought 3 sheets for this cabinet. Laminated. So biggest thing, I do not mind paying the price because of this. You can talk to my buddy Retro Lizard. He paints. And I remember my first ever cut of wood that I did. I bought birch from Home Depot. It was like $60. I assembled the cabinet. I had to sand it. I had to paint it. I had to sand it. I had to paint it. I had to sand it. I had to paint it. 3 coats. I will never do it again because I wasted like 2 or 3 days of my life doing that. So I do not mind paying the price tag. So this right here again is a kind of test cut for buttons. This is actually Ray's Quambas. So this one I'm able to do a CNC cut where I could take out, you know, 1/2 of an inch and such. So again, I don't mind paying for the wood because Number one, it is laminated birch. And number two, it makes my life easy. Now, Vidal wants to see a close-up. I'm going to kind of do this in a weird way so I don't break anything. I'll zoom in. It's funny because I see it here and it's like Time Crisis is backwards. I just hope I don't disconnect. And don't worry, when I make the full video, I will show the holsters. Yeah, you can kind of see it. You can see the side of it. So here, so Ray did it. There's no like end. There's no like piece of plastic. So the fish eye will never like rub up against anything. But boom. Right here, so on the holster here, there's like the little, like, you know, the base of the holster that holds like the actual like trigger area here. Holds it right on in. And like I said, I don't have an actual mount. Where's my mouse? I don't have like Ray gave me an option to mount. And I was like, no, Ray, I don't want, I can't have the holster come out because then this has to be a bigger hole and I don't want to do that. So yes, that is the holster. Now I'll bring you back and I hope I have it handy. Where is it? I will show Vidal. Ray, when I got his, if you see my video, when I got Ray's cabinet, his old GRS cabinet, where are you? Where is it? Where is it? When I got Ray's old cabinet, he had two, where the hell is it? Oh, it's over there. Oh, so many wires. So many wires to set up a stream. Hold that thought. So Ray, when he gave me his cabinet, he had two, I didn't unplug anything, right? Okay. He had two of these holsters mounted to his cabinet. He actually did like the same glue that he sends with his sensors. That stuff is like, it's like a sticker, right? And it's very sticky. There we go. I have to go around the world. So here, that is Ray right there. That's the original one that Ray 3D printed for his cabinet. So normally if I did like if you did a gun holster search on like Amazon or eBay, it's like this. This is like your regular standard gun holster, but it's got that like cover. And I told Ray, I was like, I don't want this because the fisheye is you're gonna scratch the fisheye like that. So that's where he came up with the design. He was like, Vic, look at my holster. It doesn't have like the, you know, you're not gonna scratch. I was like, thank God. So then he sold me two of them. So I bought two of them. While we were designing it, not designing it, he had it. He's like, it's already there. I told him like to do the mount, I need two big holes here where I could put my drill in, and then not two, three holes here, and then I need three small holes that the screw will like, you know, penetrate through. I was like, I need this so like, you know, I could put a regular screwdriver through. So the screwdriver basically went through the sidewall and then screwed in the screw. So it was pretty cool. We did a little bit of a, not a team up, it's a gun holster. So Joe was like, you guys are like reinventing the wheel. Why are you doing that? I'm like, oh no, it's just, this is what I need. Nice, I'm playing with a few holster models. So that's cool. Very cool. I think I threw it out. Ray even gave me with this, he gave me like a template. I threw it out. He gave me a template where he's like, oh Vic, like this is like the screw template. Like you could just like, you know, and I said, no, Ray, in my realm here, that template didn't work because the gun holster is not like straight. It's not straight. It's like at an angle. So I'm like, this gun holster is a cool idea, but it doesn't help. Somebody, I saw somebody in the retro shooter group. They actually designed a mount. It's kind of a cool, unique design. I'm not really a fan of it because I feel like it's fragile. But he mounted it using like the bottom rail. Like, you know how you could put like a flashlight or a laser here? He made a mount that will like, it slides in. I'm like, wow, that's kind of cool, but there's so much pressure or stress on this. I was like, I don't really like that idea. What am I in right now? I'm probably inside of NES. Chiller. Duck Hunt. We got Duck Hunt of Death. That's like the skeleton version. Cool. But yes, this is cool. Like I said, I'm enjoying this. I hope the video is coming out decently. Oh, classic. I do like all my games stretched. So I do like the 16:9. I do like the crosshair. I'll be honest, I do like the crosshairs on the screen. That's just like something that I personally like. Because I'm also the type of like, I want to make sure that my actual gun is tracking. I want to make sure it's actually good to go. Now you can all see here, I'm not close to the cabinet. Oh shit, I missed. I don't know. I'm probably like, I don't know. I should actually technically measure. I'm by the pedals. I do have the fisheye lens on this. Give or take. 4 feet. I'm 4 feet from the TV right now. Great, and I have, like I said, I do have the fisheye lens on this. None of my models have a bottom. You don't need it. And like you said, it interferes with the light gun. Love that ByVic shooter. Nothing like a 55 with light gun gaming. Yes, thank you, Vidal. I really appreciate it. And yes, my clientele, like I said, doing this for many years, using Game Room Solutions originally, then moving on to make my own cabinets. The biggest request was, and even for me, I mean, I really did it for me. I was like, I need bigger screen. You see now Big Buck Hunter in the arcade. You see Terminator Salvation. They have like 42 55s. Yeah, that was like a big must. Like I said, if you're just joining, I am waiting for my iPad, so I have to use my keyboard here. I'm not using Joy to Key. Essentially, like a game like that, I could use Joy to Key and it would register it. But basically, my Sega Model 2 is just not, it's not reading it yet. It's actually, like I said, it's pretty cool. Again, with these Reapers, I'm gonna go into the settings and I'll probably put like the coin to go back. Probably do that because I only have an enter set up right now. We could do a flash game real quick. So flash games, I have to do one video, but you can see how my flash games are set up where it's just a wall because I am not going to record 122 videos of this BS stuff. It's funny. I was just watching the Pee-wee documentary. Do I want to play that right now? Pee-wee's Pea Shooter? Yeah, we'll run it. Like I said, you're gonna see me discuss, the whole thing. In this realm, again, customers, they always look at the game count. How many games do you have? I'm gonna pay this X amount. How many games do you have? And there are sellers, there are drive sellers that are advertising 4 terabytes, 600 games. Like this, I don't know if you could count this. Would you count this as a light gun game? I don't know. I mean, it's actually decent. It's cool. The only thing though is like this, if I actually hit like the right mouse, I'm gonna get that. So now it's like, I would have to make like either a loading screen that says like, don't hit the reload button. You just gotta play it like normal. Pew, pew, pew. Like this is like, okay, like this is cool. I kind of see this as like a bar game, not a bar. Yeah, like you're like a drinking buddy game. Like, hey guys, let's see how many like score points can I do when we play this. I just like the replayability of this is like meh. Like, am I almost done with this? This is at least a decently lengthy flash game. So again, this is a game that was like on like mini clip, Newgrounds. That's what flash game is. So it is what it is. I have like the volume low. I should pick up the volume for you guys to hear it. Like, oh, okay, we're actually going into the second part. All right, this is one like gun game. I say flash game that's actually decent because it's got 3 stages to it. I was playing like, I think it was like a Simpsons one. Again, as you can see, I like to just, we're right now hanging out, so you can at least see how exiting works and all that. I just saw it before. This is it under the Grand Theft Shooter. This is why I don't have this on my main wheel, because this is like extra games. If you want these, cool. I had one that was like Simpsons. Am I missing it? I think it was like Bart Shooter. I'm gonna make sure I'll go back into Launchbox to see that. Make sure. Basically, I have it. No, this should be in. It should show me everything. H. People in the chat are probably like, "It's over there, Vic." Where is it? It was like The Simpsons. Sure you can. Target. Oh, here we go. See? Simpsons Shootout. I was like, I knew I had it. Maybe I'll just put a little Simpsons logo on it. Oh, see? Bart Shooter. I had it. Like, this now is like not a like on game because it's like not a delay. It's like we're slingshotting. Ugh. It'd be different if it was actually like, instead of a slingshot. Damn it, I missed. See, like that, like, do you count this as a like on game? This is not fun. This has 33 seconds. Let's see what happens after 33 seconds. What did it say? Body. There's a menu on the right. This is why I don't... Imagine having these games on, like, your main wheel list. It's, like, nauseating. I'm out of donuts. Cool. That was 2 minutes of my life that I just did not enjoy. I have it on my drive. It is not going to be advertised at all, though, for that. Like, no, I am not advertising this at all. That's for damn sure. Like I said, the light gun games here, that's like where your real, true, lengthy light gun games are and such. So, real quick, I did the whole Hopseuss Singe. So it's pretty cool. Hopseuss Singe replaced a couple. It's actually good that I'm going to launch this to see if the CMD... Good. Beautiful. Look at that. Sheesh. We're doing it live. We're launching and exiting Hopseuss Singe 2-player mods on a couple of these. So we now have Mad Dog McGree 2-player. I do plan, I have to do it. I'll probably do it tomorrow. Like I said, right now this is final testing stage. I'm going to sound like a broken record because I think Billy's in the chat. What's going on? Final testing stage. So in the beginning of the stream, I had maybe 1 or 2 weird things happen. I'm missing like a video, so I'll be sure to fix that. I do plan to upload this, my Hopseuss Singe files. I have all the Hopseuss Singe games. I think it's like, I don't want to say the wrong number. I think it's like 12. I think it's like 12 games. Mad Dog McGree, for example, here, Crime Patrol now has 2 players on it. Very cool. Very cool to see. There's a new game like Marbella Vice. I added that. We have Fast Draw. Very interesting game, that Fast Draw. But take a look real quick. So this is cool. I'm going to press 1 and click. We'll do the 2-player on this. I'm going to press join, click. So now we have 2-player Crime Patrol. Insert my coins. Very cool. Like, this was cool. When I saw Hopseuss Singe... Oh, I died. When I saw... Oh, great. I should pay attention, right? This was a big add-on for Hopseuss Singe with the 2-player. And again, from my knowledge, if you saw our 4 Musketeers live stream, I was like, was Mad Dog McGree, was this game here 2 players? I don't... Oh, shit. No! No! You took me out. Very cool. So that was a big thing, and I do plan, basically what I'm trying to say, as you can see, I cannot multitask. I'm basically trying to say that I will be uploading my entire Hopseuss Singe file. I believe it's 18 gigs of game. Captain Power, that was another one that I added. Like I said, the 4 Musketeers stream, Brad's like, you got Captain Power? I was like, yeah, it's newly released, so. Large is better. The round 1 had Tomb Raider with the projector screen. That Tomb Raider is monstrous, but I know exactly what you're saying. Like the drop down fast, if you don't like, state of the art light gun stuff right here. Thank you, Bobby. I appreciate it. Like I said, that's where I'm planning when I do my regular video overview. I want to do this, but as you can see, it's kind of hard. Like, I'm just not a multitasker. I want to do it where I launch a game, take a couple of shots, exit while I'm explaining stuff. So I believe real quick, again, I'm using a keyboard. This is why I'm going to make a point about it. I do like it with the retro shooter. I could use the thumbstick. So I really never have to walk up to this thing. Besides exit, American Laser, I believe I have it under. Do I have my Captain Powers underneath here? I think I do. Yeah. So again, big thing for me, making sure artwork and videos are there. So I sat down and I made Captain Power logos for everything. So I have here 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 5 Captain Powers. You can see that skill level 1, skill level 2. Yeah, you can see my screen. Awesome. Fast Draw, new game, very cool. I dig this. I'll play it. Why not? Fast Draw is actually really cool because if you mess up, it's going to actually show you the guy technically playing the actual arcade cabinet. And see, like, for example, here, like, I got to shoot out of the screen, but I want to adjust that. Really, for these American laser games, I should just not have a loading screen. And that's a quick fix. That's why we're doing it. So this is cool. Basically, technically you have, and this is like a not a vertical screen game, but let me move you over. Can you see it? Yeah, you can see it. So holster, you have to hold the right click in, and then you draw, and you take it. So I'm gonna miss once, and you're gonna actually see the guy is like, oh, like, put the gun in the holster. And I'm like, what? What am I doing wrong? See, like right now it's not recognizing the gun in the holster. So let's see if he does it. That's a foul. Let me bring the audio up. I want to see him actually do it.
That's a foul. Next time, wait for the signal.
I want to just show people, please, because he's actually in front of this cabinet.
That's a foul. Next time, wait for the signal.
I know to wait for the signal. Let me maybe just let me keep.
How many times do I have to tell you?
Yeah, look.
Back in the holster.
Right there, bang! Look at that. That is how the arcade game is. So you have to keep the gun in the holster. And right now I'm holding down the right mouse. And you technically gotta pull and shoot. How crazy is that? That is like sick. I think it's genius. Again, fast draw, Hapsus Singe added. So I'm right now holding right mouse. It's funny because I could be like this. And like, you know, but that's not fun. Got him. Bang. Done. And I think it's got the time on it too. Awesome. How sick is that? Now, again, if you don't know, you go on Emuline. Emuline. I'm not a gatekeeper. Emuline basically has a whole Hapsus Singe thread. And you download the game. I have like the bezel set up. The bezel I found though has the white border for like, I guess, Sinden. But this is just, how cool is this? How genius is this? And I play it like I'm actually in front of the actual arcade cabinet. So I'll keep my gun down. Bang, look at that. I have to just remember. So really, technically, I could actually play this. Why not? We could play with it with the pedal. Do you see the pedal on the floor? Let me bring you down. I got player 1. Oh, see, he's yelling at me. See, thanks, guys. The cowboy's yelling at me. So I got holster in. I'm not. I have to just remember to let. She almost got me. I gotta remember to let go of the pedal. Genius. How sick is that? Now it's gonna be interesting. Actually, this apparently does have 2 players. So I wonder maybe it's like whoever pulls the trigger quicker. Oh shit! He almost took me. It looks like he actually shot his own. Like he shot himself. Yeah. So that is a new one. As you can see, fast draw. Very cool, right? Isn't that sick? So I'm right now gonna do it. I did it for a couple of games, but I'm gonna basically adjust these games to show no loading screen. We'll do Mad Dog McGree, why not? I believe Mad Dog McGree, again, Hapsus Singe, is 2-player modded. So you could do 2 players with it. So as you can see, like, see command line, I gotta take out the loading screen on it. So I could press 1. Now it registers basically player 1. Again, player 2 start. Click the mouse, and we're good to go. We got to put our coins in, and we're going to press start. As you can see, I can't multitask it. Try another. Try another. Again, this game, though, from my understanding... Oh, shit, I didn't even see the bottom. That's why I don't multitask. From my understanding, this game was never a 2-player game, though. But thanks to emulation... People got 2 players to work. How crazy is that? Try another. I prefer crosshairs as well. Yes, I do like. I like my crosshairs on as well. That's why I said. That's why big thing about testing to make sure, especially I'm delivering this cabinet, I just like to make sure I have everything. So I noticed it yesterday. I think I was playing this Marbella. I want to make sure I do the right one. It was either Marbella or... No, it was an Action Max game. Let me do that real quick because I have to basically adjust all my files here. So if I do Action Max, these now, if I do this one for... You can see that no loading screen. It doesn't say like loading. So now I don't have to worry about the CMD being messed up. So I'm going to do that basically for anything that requires CMD. So that whole American Laser setup is what I will change to that. Easy. See, that's why we test. Big thing is to test. This is an awesome stream. I'm having fun. You know, sometimes I don't like doing it. I'm at a good state now, though, where like I'm at a good state. You know, I like to make sure all my games launch and stuff. And the only way, this is like a big deal to me. This is where, you know, respect to the other people. It's not me calling out anybody because, you know, there's a lot of people that are doing this now. I'm just a big fan of testing. You have to test. You got to test. I don't clone my drives. I don't do that. Right now, for example, I said I have to take my entire launch box right now and put it into my personal build. I have to do a new SSD, so it's going to be an entirely new, fresh SSD. I could technically clone, but I'll probably do that on the side, but I usually do it where I just copy my launch box files and then paste. Anytime I do a build, especially like a shooter cabinet, I do the same thing, where I sit in Launchbox and I launch every single game. Yes, that's what I do. This one I'm very happy and proud of because I took the time. MAME, there's a couple of games, like some of the big buck hunter games, you actually have to go into the service menu of the game and calibrate the gun. From my understanding now that I did that with this, it should transfer over. So I'm hoping that it does. If not, I will still do my basic routine. Me to test like 300 games, it probably takes me about 3 days. You know, because I'm not gonna just. It kind of gets like strenuous in the background. I'm kind of sitting there and like launching, and I'll take a couple of shots, and I'll exit. I'll launch another game. I'll take a couple of shots. The worst game I hate to load is Rambo. Rambo on Technopower because it just takes forever to load. It's not a PC issue. It's just that's how like the game takes to load. Also, quick note about the Reapers. Because of the Reapers, I added a couple of more games that I normally wouldn't be able to add if I had aim tracks or technically if I even had Gunfire R. I added Operation Wolf, the new one, that PC game. Again, like I said, I could do everything here too, so people like I'm not holding the keyboard. Or like I said, this is like the coolest thing. I'm gonna make a big. I could basically just navigate from here. Like, how cool is that? Where is it? Operation Wolf First Mission. So this is that new PC game. Luckily with AHK, I was able to map like that. You had to hit spacebar to like show yourself. So I was able to map like, you know, up, down, left, right on the joystick. So a game like this, if I was doing a Gunfire R build, I wouldn't be putting this game because you need several buttons for this game to work. Whereas now with the Reaper, I have everything like mapped out good and we're basically set to go. So again, Operation Wolf returns. First mission. So space, as you can see, I basically have it set to up. So I go solo. I'm gonna just take off that. I'm gonna pick that. We're gonna start mission. Look at that. See? This is a big deal. We're just showing you how it works. And it's funny, like I said, if you are ever a customer and if I ever deliver to you personally, I'm at your house for about maybe 3 to 4 hours. I make sure you understand how the game works, how the system works and such. That's just me being me. I don't find it as work. I'm the type where I want to make sure you understand what you got. I want to make sure that you're comfortable and you enjoy everything about your build that you bought. Oh no. Beautiful. Reload is set to the reload. So again, bottom, up. Again, I'm using that the actual analog stick for that. Again, a game like this, if I was doing a gunfire IR build that only had 3 buttons, I would not have Operation Wolf on this. So up. Oh, I reloaded too early. I have my middle mouse is set to change the weapon. Yep. So we have trigger, reload, middle mouse to change the weapon, and the uncover. I'm pretty sure there's going to be another button that will pop up somewhere. Reload, reload. Oof. Hit the gas tank, hit the gas tank. Reload, reload. Love it. This is beautiful. This is it. This is awesome. This is what I love. I love everything about this. I'm more excited, like I said, customers. Oh no, I died. Of course, continue. How embarrassing, Vic. Go. Again, I'm utilizing that analog up. Sheesh. Oh no. It's not like Time Crisis where you let go and it'll reload by itself. No. Ah! Now I have to see now. Oh, there it is. Yes, okay. I have now, this is another button now. 5 is set to throw grenade. Boom. See that? You have right now, what is this? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 button game. Oh shit, and I just did I shoot that? I shot that guy. That guy's limping away. Embarrassing, Vic, embarrassing. 5 button game. If you have a gunfire that you custom made and have 5 buttons on it, kudos to you. Kudos. But I never had a gunfire with 5 buttons on it, and there you go. Operation Wolf has been added. Very cool. Like I said, I'm digging it. I love that I went live on this. People will probably see this after the fact. It is what it is. I love it. Love it. Love it. I have to go pick up the kiddos soon, so not too bad. This is actually a pretty solid stream. As I take a look, comments and all. Jersey Jack Pinball posting stuff. We got another teaser. Wow. That'll probably be the next live stream. I will be doing a community stream doing the live reveal. What game is this? Is this my Time Crisis 5? Yes, okay. I have to put my video up for Time Crisis 5. That's the one video I'm probably missing. I added Ed Hunter. A game I added, but then it kept crashing, was that Alien Safari. Took it out. It's like it crashes. Took it out. What was I gonna? Oh, Ed Hunter. I added this. Pretty cool because this is like an actual Windows game. It's a fun cap. Thank you. I appreciate it. The Beamy. Very cool. Like I said, you'll see videos on it. This was cool. I'll probably do another live stream maybe tomorrow. Like I said, today my iPad comes in, so I gotta rewire the buttons. And like I said, I don't even need all those buttons. It's funny to see. I have now a new one on this build. The next build coming up is gonna be a 2-player with 3 joysticks. That guy had a good idea, and I bought the piece to test. I don't know if you guys can see it. Let's see. But you can kind of see it. We basically did a flush mount. There it is. We did a flush mount volume knob. So I said, oh, I have this shooter cabinet. Normally on a shooter cabinet, I have an amp right here, but this is pretty clean. You still do need an amp for this volume. So pretty cool. Stay tuned for that. I'm excited to see that it actually works out very well. So again, it's like every build I do, there's always like something new that gets added. And it's pretty cool. Loving the artwork on this. Again, this is my regular Time Crisis customer on this one. Very cool. I don't know if you noticed it, if you see my past videos, but we did a new kick plate. Totally different kick plate on this. Normally, I had Time Crisis 1 to 5. I had the logos here. Time Crisis 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Where the pedal cutout is, Time Crisis 5 logo was chewed up. So I removed it. So I only had Time Crisis 1 to 4. So this customer's like, Vic, can you just leave the Time Crisis because he likes that. Like when I think Time Crisis, I think of this logo. Like yes, there's 2 logos here. So I said, yeah, cool. I could put just Time Crisis, and I sent him a rendering, and he liked it. And then I was like, wait a minute, what about if I put the 2 guys? And then he liked it even more, and I was like, solid. He's like, go, print. I was like, good to go. So this is kind of cool. Like I said, you can see here as I end this stream, I'm gonna unplug the pedals. I usually like to kind of like, I don't like to wrap hard wrap it, but this has like that like zigzag when you get it out of the box. You know, you could always do like a little spin. You guys still see me? Yep. This is the biggest deal for me, was the storage on this. So I could tuck this wire in, and the pedal is there. There is a wall. I do have a wall, like a compartment inside the cabinet, so the pedal's not gonna go in the back and like, oh, where did it go? I gotta reach in. What game is this? Oh, it's the Flash games. I gotta get one Flash. See, as I talk, we discover. I gotta get one Flash game video. This way it just kind of shows. But I have a wall back there. It's a whole compartment type of setup. 3 compartments. 2 compartments hold each pedal. And another compartment that is holding the fire base in place. I cut the wood specifically designed so that the base of the cabinet, there's a lip. I gotta kind of like, I guess maybe bring you in. But I basically have a lip. So now like it's not gonna come out. You can't pull it out. So I really designed that for the fire base. It's in, and look, see, like I'm pulling, I can't do anything. Easy. Done. That's why I did it like that. But I didn't want to glue the fire base down, only because in case you wanted to plug in and then, you know, you can pull it out a little bit. But in. My only thing, and I didn't want to do it on this one, the wiring for these guns. These guns are thick wire. This is a thick wire here. So my only last thing, I'm not gonna do it to this cabinet. I'm gonna keep in mind for the next one. I would love to find like a design where I could just kind of stuff the wire in. Now, I was gonna do that. I was gonna put like a hole here, but I have this big fear of like, if I do that and like you pull the wire, you might like maybe like splice the, I don't know. But yeah, so right now, for example, like that's what it would look like, you know, wire kind of dangles. I could put a hook on the side. I just don't want to mess up the artwork. In all honesty, like the one I have downstairs, I just kind of like spool it like that. So that's like the one thing I probably have to work on next, is maybe just trying to figure out how to like, you know, put the wiring in. I could technically like stuff it in here. I could kind of do something like that. You know what I mean? Like you put the wire inside here, and then you can still put the gun in technically. That's actually not too bad. And there's like nothing down there that could like hook on to the actual like PC or something like that. So, I don't know. That's like the one thing. That's the only thing. When it comes to a light gun cabinet, you got wires. That's just the nature of the beast. Let me know in the comment section if you have any ideas. I would do like a hook. Like you can get it on Amazon, like the fork. It's just like, I don't want to do that because I'm the type where like, I'm not going to like, it's like doing the hose. Like, okay, I'm going to roll up my hose today. Like, I don't know. I don't want to do that. We are demanding community with cabs. We also want more than we need. Put the gun wire on like a retractable dog leash. I was thinking that. But still, it would technically need a hole here. How big would that hole be? Not to mention, like, you know, you want to keep it clean. This, when you see the final videos on this, the compartments I made for the pedals, I almost couldn't fit the PC, the desktop, or the subwoofer. So I just made it enough that it works and it fits. So it's like if I put technically if I make a hole here, you would technically see like the PC here. And on this side here, you would see wires that I have nice and, you know, zip tied neatly. I would also do it though in a way where like I don't cut out the vinyl. Like the vinyl will just have a slit so that the wire like is hidden behind the slit. I don't know. That's like the only one thing. But normally, like on my cabinet, on the other Time Crisis cabinet I did a while back, they just tend to like, once you put it on the side here, and again, my cabinet is on wheels, so like, you know, it does go underneath. So it's like once they kind of throw it to the side, that's like the only thing about a dedicated shooter cab is the wiring. The wires are there. You can't avoid the wires unless you like unplug, which I didn't want that to happen. Like I'm the type where like I don't see this customer, for example, pulling out the USB. I don't see that happening. He could if he wanted to, but I just don't see that as happening. But yeah, I love the kick plate on this. The kick plate, genius idea. That was the customer's idea. He was like, Vic, take out all the logos, just give me Time Crisis. And I was like, I'll do one better. And I sent him, I put Time Crisis dead in the middle. And then I was like, to me, I was like, it looks kind of plain. So like, let me add the two guys. And these are different images than what's on the left side. So very cool. Like, I love everything about it. As far as like the actual control panel, like I mentioned before, with these Reapers, I technically don't even need the buttons. In the past, yes. Like, for example, normally when I do like the light gun builds, you can't see it because of this freaking light. Wait.
Alexa, turn off the garage lights.
I apologize if your devices went off, but LEDs here. Again, it's on wheels, so we do have like the standard glow. Where's my zoom? Hello. Bonjour. There we go. Again, wheels keep it elevated. It doesn't really come out that great on the screen, but this is illuminated here. Yeah, it's like my ISO is low. So everything here, like the actual pedal is illuminated back here, the fire base. It's cool. I dig it. But essentially, like I said, my past shooter cabinets, you needed this. So games like Sega Model 2, Sega Model 3 that required like the 5 button for coin and the 1 button to start, you had to push a button. Whereas now with the Reapers, everything's mounted, it's on the gun. Normally, now aside from those games, other games normally like MAME, Techno Parrot, I have those set where the start button is the trigger. And the coin is either the middle mouse button or the reload. So it's like you never needed the buttons for those games. But games like the Sega Model 2, Model 3, I needed the 1 and the 5. That's why I have the whole control panel layout here. Whereas now with the Reaper, I literally just need an exit button. I thought the Reapers had the option for escape. But maybe I have to look at the manual. If you could escape on the Reaper. I don't think you can, but if you can, cool. Let me unmute myself. This way you don't... This little live stream, pretty fun, pretty cool. Like I said, as we do this is what I normally do. I like to test. I have to adjust. I need a Time Crisis 5 video. And I want to redo my Time Crisis 4, make sure it's full screen, because it looks like the one that I have. See, I did that again. I have to see what I have mapped and adjust from there. I have to see what I have mapped out for that. I apparently have exit and like, not shutdown, but I have like exit mapped to this one button here. So we have to adjust that. Like I said, my Time Crisis 4, I want to put it with the full screen. It looks like the video I have for my Time Crisis 4 is like the one that Emuline or Emu Movies gives you. So it's not full screen. Definitely want to readjust that and make sure it's full screen. But yeah, big box on this. I love the theme. I forgot the name of the theme I used, but the biggest thing is just to have full screen, just full screen video. No box art. I'm not a fan of the box art stuff and the CDs. I don't do that. You just got full screen video. Easy. But yeah, I'm going to re-tape this one. We're going to re-record that. And then, like I said before, I have Time Crisis. No, the House of the Dead 2. I like to have my logo say what it is. So, you know, I have some that says like Dreamcast version. See, like, for example, Blue Estate. I have 2 Blue Estates. That's the 1-player version and then 2-player arcade mod. If I go down, you got the Captain Powers added here. Again, videos and all, confidential mission. So here, for example, Crypt Killer. This is the arcade version, and then I have the PS1 version. So again, this one is actually, I recorded this. This is a screen grab record of this game. You know, duplicates, yes, but there's a reason for the duplicates. For example, here, Dead Storm Pirates is this one player. And then I have Dead Storm Pirates Special Edition, which is technically the arcade version. There you go, Death Crimson 2. That is a Dreamcast game. Death Crimson OX, that's the Dreamcast version. This is the Model 2 version. So yes, I make all my logos. So anything like that, that is me. I made the logo for that, if you ever see that. So, like I said, this is where I have to right now figure out. I have this, and I have this. I think one of them, no, it's House of Dead 3. See, for example, House of Dead 3, I have regular one, and then I have the 2-player arcade mod. Same thing with House of Dead Remake. Regular, 1-player, and then 2-player arcade mod. Easy, see? Like, I just like that. Like that. Some games need it. For example, Lethal Enforcers 3. I just did this. This is Techno Parrot. This is an actual screen grab of the game. This is Lethal Enforcers 3, 1-player. They got Lethal Enforcers 3, 2-player. That's what... Little Easter egg on this. 2 separate versions of Techno Parrot to get this to work like that. Yeah. Yeah, if you ever want tips, I'll be more than happy to help you. Tip you out. Basically, I said Lethal Enforcers 3. Originally, I had a PC standalone version. Then I discovered Techno Parrot had it. But Techno Parrot had the 2-player version. I'm like, ooh. I loaded up the 1-player. So if you know Techno Parrot, like you could only make one profile, which maybe they'll do an update. So this is one Techno Parrot that has the 1-player enabled, like check screen. And then this one is a separate, an entirely separate Techno Parrot. Inside of Launchbox, I have it labeled as Techno Parrot 2-player. Because in case there's ever another game that comes out, I have that. So 2 separate Techno Parrots. And to make your life easy, you could just pick either you want the 2-player mod or you want the 1-player mod. Same thing here. Maybe like the Techno Parrot games, I'll remove the loading screen. A couple of the games I do want to utilize the loading screen. But yeah, as you can see right here, we have Lethal Enforcers 3 2-player. See? Beautiful. Oh, it's a beautiful thing, Vic. You're doing beautiful stuff. Yes, yes. So again, if I wanted to play, if I had a second player with me, see like that, this is why I do this. This is awesome. I right now, right? Hello, how are you? I launched this game, right? But I'm alone. Now I'm gonna play this game with dual split screen? Like, I have a 55-inch screen and I gotta, like, no, I don't want that. Nobody wants that. That's why I give you got 2 versions of it. So yes, like my buddy Joel Retro Lizard, you need duplicates. And this is a prime example of why I need duplicates. So again, you can see there, this is now a different version of Techno Parrot. This is my standard Techno Parrot, I should say. So all of my Techno Parrots is under Techno Parrot Shooter. And then I have Techno Parrot 2-player. That is literally just for 1. And as you can see, look at that. Look at that. I right now can enjoy Lethal Enforcers 3 full screen 1-player. Isn't that beautiful? Like, you guys let me know in the comments. I see Bobby over there. I see a bunch of things over there. Ready? It's actually funny, right? This game, you can hear the audio, good. This game, I didn't shoot that woman. Combo. Good stuff, reload. This game is actually like, it's like a race. If you do the 2-player, there's like a meter in the middle and we're running. That meter on the right is actually in the middle of the screen and we're running. So every time you shield, you're like slower than player 2. I think that's so cool. I'm like, what? And as you can see, this is just prime example. This is a prime example of why we need two separate versions of Lethal Enforcers. Awesome, right? Isn't that cool? Let's see what you guys are saying, because I have to get ready to go pick up the kiddo from school. They called the second button for 5 seconds. Is it? No way. Are you fucking kidding me, Vidal? Are you kidding me? Don't play with my emotions right now. What do you mean second button? Are you talking about like number 5? Don't play with my emotions, Vidal. Are you talking about number 5 or are you talking right mouse button? You're about to change everything right now. If I hold down 5. Wow. Wow, Vidal. I didn't even need an iPad. Son of a bitch. Damn. Wow, I knew it. I was like, I know I read somewhere. Wow. Wow, Vidal. You saved it. Thank God I went live, and thank God you are here. Wow. That is now unbelievable. That is unreal now. You literally, I do not need any, I don't need that. Oh my God. Wow. Thank you, Vidal. If anybody ever said to you, you never contribute, you contribute, my friend. I am flabbergasted right now. Son of a bitch. I don't need anything. I don't need any of the buttons. Wow. Wow. Unbelievable. I had to click all chat from top chat to see Vidal. Interesting. Wow. That's unbelievable, dude. I am like, wow, dude. Thank God, man. Thank God I went on live, and thank God you're in the chat. Cause I'm planning to make the video for this like tomorrow or the next day. Wow, dude. Now this is interesting real quick. So Mission Impossible, I actually originally had this game set up to trigger, to start. You don't want that. You definitely want to actually do a button, because like there's a mode where you're like slamming the button. I can't believe Vidal just gave me that tip. Unbelievable, man. I'm about to just quit. Unreal, Vidal. Thank you. Unbelievable. This is unreal. That's the way the community works. We take care of each other. That is very true. That is insane, man. Oh, it works with player 2 also. Wow. And I like that because it's a nice hold. Because I can't lie to you, I'm holding and I'm like, nothing's happening. And then, wow. Wow. What a way to end what a way to end the stream. That is awesome. Thank you so much. Unbelievable. That is amazing, dude. I literally now, well, no, actually, yes. If I need to go back, I could map it to 5 to go back. But I right now could just hold this. Wow, I could do it. Unbelievable. Unreal. Wow. You have no idea. You have no idea. And it just goes to show you, I will say it, I don't know everything. But son of a bitch. I didn't really look at the manual though for Retro Shooter. I knew that there was an option. I thought it was like you gotta hold 1 and 2 together. Damn, man. Look, I could just do everything here. I could now basically map 5 to go back. Dude, that is unbelievable, man. How crazy is that? I can't believe that. Literally like mind blown. Time Crisis 3, I think, was a PS2. I do have my Time Crisis Crisis Storm. I fixed no white cloud on that. I'm over here playing. I literally have to go get my kiddo. Amazing, dude. I can't believe it. Thank you so much. This is not Hyperspin. No, Casey. Hyperspin and me, we're done with Hyperspin. This is Big Box. The RS3 is loaded with Easter eggs. So the one thing I didn't do, I did not do the joystick mode. I do not like the joystick mode. There's a couple of consoles like Duck Station and the Wii. For you to do 2-player, you need to move these to joystick mode. Damn it, I picked the wrong one. I tried this joystick mode and the aim was just off. And I said, fuck this joystick mode. I know you could AHK to move the gun to joystick mode and back to mouse mode or whatever, but I just didn't want to do it. Beautiful, man. Wow, Vidal, dude. I gotta give you some coffee money, dude. I gotta buy you a coffee. Ah! No, no, don't hit me. Let's see. So long press 5. Unbelievable. Unbelievable, man. Thank you for the tip. Thank you. Unreal. PS3 Rambo needs joystick, but not for aim. For so I did add it. It's got such a long, painstaking, like beginning. But I did that Rambo, like this one, Rambo the video game. This one that was a standalone game, and yes, this is like another one that needs like 4 or 5 buttons. But I got it. I didn't do PS3 Rambo. That is true. It's actually very funny. You're going back to my comment about when Launchbox and BitBox first came out. I made that comment. I was like, they're making it look like Hyperspin, but then it's really cool because you can make a different theme. So yes, you can see there the wheel. It is very Hyperspin-esque, but a much needed upgrade, honestly. This big box, I still know Hyperspin, don't get me wrong, but this was like a huge upgrade that was just needed. My personal ByVic 43 terabyte build, that is moved over to big box. And as you can see, the dedicated shooters and all that, everything now is big box. I always give the customers their own big box license. So I do that for them. I also make an email for them. This way it doesn't interact with their personal email. And then I subscribe to my Discord. This way, if they want to get the new games and all that, they can go to my Discord for that. And I do like bookmarks. So I got like a bookmark of like Emuline, bookmarked and such. So it's different than an arcade build. If it was an arcade build, I usually put like my sites. But it basically turned into the Discord side of things where you could just go to my Discord and join the Discord, and then you could see all the games that I post. That's the one thing as far as game updates now. If you want the newest and latest game, that's where I put it to Discord. You could download it. Adding the games on Big Box, Launchbox is way easier than Hyperspin days. So I'll always assist. If you need help adding the game to my build, that's fine. I just don't do like updates where you connect to my computer via, what is that? Like Zilla Connect, Zillify or whatever. I don't do that. But I'll be more than happy. You could message me in Discord and then say, hey Vic, I need a hand. Everything now is AnyDesk. I used to use TeamViewer, but TeamViewer now it's gotten smart and it's like, hey, you gotta buy the full licensed TeamViewer, and I'm like, screw it, I just use AnyDesk. So this already has AnyDesk installed on it. Awesome. Like I said, my only last final things to do on this, because I gotta go pick up the kiddo. iPack is coming in today, so I'm gonna rewire all the buttons. Thank you, Vidal, for letting me know that I could escape on the gun. I knew it. I was like, it's gotta be a way. I was like, they did everything. They have to have that, right? And I have to just wire up the PC power button in the rear. I always do that. You have to always shut these things down. But luckily with Big Box, you could actually go here. I'll do it with you guys live, and you could just shut down. Isn't that convenient? Awesome. I have my little notes. I got to do a couple of videos, meaning record gameplay. And I have to fix my American Laser games to just not show a loading screen. This way the CMD, the command line, is not shown. But yeah, that is it. Essentially now I could just turn off the TV and power on. Now my cabinets here, what I normally do, I set the PC BIOS to power on once power is given. I always tell all my customers, I give them the smart switch. I give them like the smart light switch, because right now it's off. Like the system is off. If you wanted to power on, I do have an arcade power button in the back. You just kind of tap it. Or the real way is that you literally turn off everything. I have the remotes. These TCLs, any TV now, it's like it doesn't power on like a regular arcade cabinet. Even now, 32-inch screens, they no longer do that. So I'll show you real quick a full boot. Oh, but I don't have Launchbox set yet, but it's fine. I'll show you. So I'm going to just cut off the power. I do put like a regular power switch in the rear, like my regular arcade builds. I'm going to just let it 30 seconds. I don't like to just turn on and off. I do have ventilation in the rear of the cabinet. So there are 2 fans there bringing air in. So I'm going to power on. When I power on, the actual computer turns on. That's where you go into your BIOS and you set it to like AC power state, you want to put it on. Luckily, these TCLs, there's a nice little power button right there. You could see the screen capture is getting the gigabit. I do kind of want to change that logo to put like, you know, dedicated shooter. But essentially now, I normally do it where I put, I like to put Launchbox, Big Box on a scheduled task. I always do that. I know Big Box, Launchbox, you could set it to like shell right into the program. I don't like doing that. Even with a great PC, again, the specs on this PC is like, whoa. I don't short shit. I do not do it. This PC right here, this build is gonna last years. Like, no joke, like at least 8 to 10 years. Like, you don't have to update anything with this. Again, I went overboard with it, but it is what it is. Ryzen 7, 32 gigs of RAM, 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe. We could actually see real quick. I have to clean up a little bit. Reminds me of Hyperspin. I have to clean up a little bit. Let's just see real quick. So we have 580 gigs left. 580. Again, 2 terabyte M.2 NVMe. I have 500 gigs left. So again, my personal shooter cabinet downstairs, I ran out of space. That is why when I built this cabinet, I said I need 2 terabyte minimum. But big box, I always set it up. I don't have it set right now, but normally I set it up where task scheduler. I don't like to use the whole shell thing. And that's it. You're in. You're in and you could game. That's what it is. Biggest thing is that you got to shut down the PC. You have to shut it down. There you go. Awesome. I appreciate you guys and gals hanging out. Thank you again. Also, you're going to see a video coming up with the RK 1-Up that I modded. Thank you to 12,000 subscribers. Awesome stuff. I am anxious to see. I'm pretty sure people are going to go nuts for this shooter cabinet. Already, people are going nuts. It's funny. I actually have 2. I had a guy that came to pick up Big Blue. Remember Big Blue? That Big Blue 2-player arcade cabinet? That guy came about a week ago. And I had this here, but I didn't have the PC because I was working on it in my basement. I don't ever keep the PC here. Like right now, I'm at a state right now. Final testing, I am not cutting wood. I have the PC up here. We are not cutting wood. I don't want dust in the air. No. We're in final testing stage of this. So, yes. The guy that came to take Big Blue, he was like, what is that? I was like, that's a ByVic 55-inch dedicated shooter. And he's like, I don't understand. I said, shooting games. He's like, wait a minute, you got Big Buck? I said, I do. I have several Big Bucks. So I took him into my basement to show him the House of Rock. And he played some Big Buck. And he's like, put me down for one. I was like, I'll add you to my list. So that was cool. That was very awesome. So I have 2 more. It's actually very interesting. I kind of wanted to do a new art package, but everybody is liking Time Crisis. So the 2 that I have coming up, they want Time Crisis. But before I do those, I have a 2-player ByVic coming up with 3 joysticks. So stay tuned for that one. But yes. Thank you for like on transparency on builds. Yes, I appreciate it, Bobby. Yes. No gatekeeping. Don't gatekeep. Like I said, I'm right now like flabbergasted that Vidal gave me that tip about the escape. Thank you. I knew it. I was like, it's gotta be there. But yes, again, I'm gonna keep the stream up. The beginning of it was not rocky. I had maybe like 1 or 2 things. I was like, whoa. But that's A-okay. That's just how it is. That is the point of this, to do the testing. I just wanted to test. That's what I do. Normally now though, like for example, I'm gonna do these games here and the American Laser. I'm gonna launch in Big Box. Because as you can see, launching in Big Box versus Launch Box, it's 2 different things because we have command lines and all that. Sometimes there's like waits, and you want to make sure that you wait for a program to come in the beginning or it launches. There's a lot. There's a lot. I have to go get the kiddo. Everybody, thank you. There will be another live stream. I have the camera gear already set over here, so most likely we'll be doing 1 more live stream before I do the final videos on this. And yeah, awesome stuff. Again, Big VP, Gamecase Arcades. Thank you. Everybody have a good Tuesday. I have to go pick up the kiddo. Thank you, everybody. And thank you, Vidal. for that escape key tip. Thank you guys.